What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. So today I do want to talk about something here on Forza Horizon 5. Now personally, this is something I was looking forward to in this game basically before it even came out. I was hearing a lot of people talking about the off-roading aspects to it and stuff like that, and I was like, alright, well I definitely need to play this because I do love racing off-road. I was playing the dirt games and all that. Honestly, not the biggest fan of off-roading in Motorfest. That's probably down to some of the handling issues on that game and how the vehicles feel. So I really did get insanely excited for Forza Horizon 5 with it. Turns out, guys, doing the cross-country racing in this game is so dang entertaining. And with that, though, I was also like, well, you know what? With all the races I'm going to want to check out here, I figured I would drive a different vehicle in every single race I did, which is what you guys will end up seeing in the background. I was using like a Class 1 buggy. I used that Halo type of truck thing. I also used like one of the Jeep things, which is also a crazy truck. The Liberty Wrangler is honestly insane. I might have to use that truck more often in the future. Handled very well. I love the way the suspension was set up on that, which is probably why I love off-roading in this game. I do love the way the shocks work, and also there's going to be Fox suspension on the vehicles, which is something I didn't realize until after the fact that they do even have that part of detail on there. Pretty dang amazing. But I did want to talk about the cross-country part of it because I do know this is going to be different than like the dirt racing, the rally cross part of it, which I am going to do a separate video on the dirt racing as well, guys. Do stay tuned for that. But I figured let me talk about the cross-country because we all do know in these types of events you're probably going to be using something different than like a rally car. But don't get me wrong, because you could still jump into these races with a rally car if you want, or something like a rally monster, which you guys will see some of that in the background. Even the rally monster on some of the events was still doing great. I mean, heck, I even used the really big semi truck in one of the races, the Mercedes-Benz, which I'm sure you guys probably saw the video on that thing. Really do love driving that. Doing some of the cross-country races with that was honestly a tad difficult. The main reason is you're probably going to be going against other trophy trucks and stuff, and yeah, those are also going to be faster in some places, but they also will handle a bit better, which is probably going to be the biggest thing. The overall power of the trophy trucks and stuff like that is insane. So dang entertaining, man. I love the way the trucks are going to accelerate. You see like them like lift up. You're also going to be able to fly around corners, and on top of it, it feels like you're driving a big, wide trophy truck instead of like a tiny vehicle or something. That was probably a complaint in mine. Like when I was playing Motorfest a bit and driving the regular trophy truck, which on there I think it was the F-150 Raptor, the older one that was in the Crew 1, which is also in Motorfest. Driving that in Motorfest, though, like, it doesn't really feel that great. Some of the vehicles on that game with the handling or the way they really do feel just doesn't, I don't know, man. It just doesn't feel right, you know what I mean? And that was something I was aiming for. Like, a lot of people were telling me that, yo, if you really do like off-roading, you are going to love Forza Horizon 5, the way the cars feel, the way the overall design of it is. And so far, I have not been disappointed. In fact, I absolutely love it. And that was a reason why I wanted to jump into different races, use something like a 4Runner, maybe like a Jeep Rubicon or something, which you guys are going to see these in the background. The Jeep, I think, was like a level D or something. I did want to use that purposely being a lower level just to try it. Still was really fun, and I figured having like a lower level D vehicle, I can try to see how it handles and stuff with it being slower, and turns out it was still really fun to drive though. And you're also going to have other vehicles in that same category, which is something I absolutely love about it. For example, if you're going to be using like an unlimited off-road, you're probably going to see more of those. If you're going to be using something like a 4Runner, you're going to see other off-road vehicles like the AT37. You're also going to see other off-road trucks and stuff like that in there, like maybe a Tacoma or something. So I feel like that's going to be a cool mix-up on how they actually put different classes into there, but they're also going to base it on the level of the vehicle you are using. This is something I was talking about with like the vehicle classes, guys. I absolutely love it. If you're going to have a vehicle like 750, the AI are also going to have it. So let's say if you have a vehicle that's lower level, like yeah, you probably can't race PvP with it, right? But you can race PvE stuff with it because the other cars are the same level as you, and it's also going to put the same type of vehicles in that. Like, for example, if you power down your vehicle, you lower the difficulty or something, you'll see different AI in there, which is honestly pretty dope. If you level that vehicle up, put the AI harder or something, then you're also going to see more difficult and powerful vehicles in there, which is pretty awesome, all within the same category as you. This is also why I wanted to use something like an AT37 or like one of the Class 1 buggies. I was having a great time. Don't get me wrong, some of the vehicles I do have to tweak and stuff, but I really do like the fact that if I was driving a 4Runner and then I went to something like an AT37, they still felt different than each other while going over jumps and hitting different bumps and stuff like that and flying around corners, which is something I really did enjoy about it. And what's funny about that though is right after I drove the 4Runner or something like the AT37, I immediately was like, okay, you know what? Let me go try the Silverado K10. That truck is also going to feel a lot different than something like a 4Runner, which really makes the off-roading even more entertaining. Like, I'm going to be driving a pickup with bigger suspension. You can feel it. I do love the way going over bumps, watching the suspension work and stuff like that is so dang cool. And it's probably going to add on to even more of the overall experience when you are doing the cross-country racing. And the reason why I do specify that is, again, the rally racing or like the dirt racing is definitely going to be a bit different. I'll talk about that in a future video. But one thing I am going to admit though, some of the trucks I probably enjoy the most in this game are the main off-road ones, which if you're wondering what I mean, that is going to be the trophy trucks themselves. This is going to be something like the Pro Runner, that's going to be the Polaris from like the off-road DLC. Something like the Ford Rockstar like Traxxas looking truck is really cool. Funny part is I used to be into the RC trucks when I was younger and stuff like that, and using the Traxxas ones and then seeing one in the game was honestly very cool, and I immediately had to flock toward and drive that one, and man did it handle great, sounded good. It's also going to be amazing over jumps and stuff like that, which is something I was noticing. Like if you're hitting really big jumps in like an AT37, it is going to soak them up, which again I could probably go in and tune the trucks a little bit, which I am working on doing that stuff. Or I could jump into something like the Traxxas looking truck or like the Polaris looking Pro truck, which I would say jumping over really big jumps and stuff like that, those are going to soak them up more, which honestly is going to make a lot of sense considering the suspension on trophy trucks is what, like $100,000 or something, or even more than that. I think it's like 200, because those trophy trucks have some of the craziest suspension I've ever seen. Back in the day, I used to watch like the Mint 400, the Baja 1000 and stuff, and I do think a big part of me watching those though, and also going over some of the documentaries on those, is the fact that the building they did behind the scenes on these trucks to make them perform like that really is insane to think about, that they're putting like $200,000 suspension on them. It is going 80 to 100 miles an hour. You could see the shocks going all crazy on them. So I'm like, yo, no, I have to go drive these. And funnily enough, in like the off-road events, I have pretty much been driving the trophy trucks a lot more than everything else. On top of it, I've also been using the Class 1 buggies. I absolutely love those. In fact, those two classes were going to be my favorite thing back in Dirt 2. Really did love going over jumps and doing some of the longer events in them. The overall power and the feeling of a trophy truck really is insane. I feel like Forza really does capture it in a great way. That was something I was looking for because I did like off-roading and stuff, and I did notice in Motorfest again that it just wasn't hitting the same though. And the Crew 2 was kind of fun, but we all do know the vehicles didn't really feel that great on there, or like realistic. And we all do know a lot of people weren't the biggest fan of the handling in that game, and that can also be said about something about the Crew 1 as well. Even though it was fun, we all do know the handling wasn't all that great. That was probably the biggest complaint. Here in Forza, guys, I gotta admit, the handling model in this game is probably one of my favorite things about it. I love all the way the cars feel, even driving like a racing Porsche or something, going to a truck, and then switching over to something like a rallycross car, then going into like a bigger trophy truck, then like a Class 1 buggy. And the insane part is they all feel different in such a fun way. Like using a Class 1 buggy, then going to like a racing trophy truck, they literally both feel different, which is just insane to me, man. Really does make the off-roading feel even that much more entertaining. And the insane part to me as well is the fact that I have barely played any Event Lab events yet. I can't wait to test some of those out, and I might even go in there and try to make some cool ones myself. I am interested to know what y'all think about the cross-country racing and the off-road trucks here in Forza. I gotta admit, being a brand new Forza player, seeing the handling model in this game, seeing the way the off-roading feels and stuff like that, and driving these bigger trophy trucks has honestly gotten me into this game even more, which is probably going to sound a bit crazy to people, but that's the thing though. I have been looking for an open world racing game on this scale with this type of handling model where I could drive something like an Illumicraft or something like a Jimco, a Ford, a Honda. I could jump into like a DeBerti, like you have the pre-runners. There is no other racing game that offers vehicles like that. What's kind of funny though is I do remember seeing the Jimcos back. I think it was Dirt 5. I think it was, where I think the buggy was also in that game. But again though, it's not going to be open world. You're not going to be able to do races like you can in this game. Again, I haven't even done Event Labs yet. I can't wait to see what I end up finding in there. And also, speaking of that, guys, do share some crazy off-road trails or some crazy off-road course share codes in the comments below, because I was actually thinking about doing something similar to that one video where I was talking about the Nissan Suru and how that build was insane, and then highlighting different builds the community does end up coming up with or sharing them to me. I want to do something similar with some crazy share coded events and stuff like that, guys, maybe highlighting those in videos on top of it. Do let me know what y'all think about the off-roading in Forza. I'm going to say right now that, well, being a current racing game that's out right now, this is probably going to be the best one that there possibly is that's open world when it does come to off-roading stuff. Like, honestly, it's not even close to me. Again, let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below.